Yeah, yeah, yeah. Baby, yeah. You know, say, ready on this. You know, I have patience.
Peace, family. What's good? What's going on? All right. It's Kyle Dixon here for another episode of the Grand Rising Collective. I hope you all have been doing well this week. I hope things have been going super, stupendous, extraordinary, all those great things happening for us in the world, despite certain things going on that may be not so good, not so extraordinary, not so positive, not so celebratory, but we push on. We do our thing and we do it well. So, having a great day. Hope you're having a great day, and welcome to the show. My co-host Kaide Bentley is not here today, but he will be back soon. So we push on. You know, we keep going. We got some things to talk about and some things to share, and hopefully it's for your benefit, which I know it will be, because we've been getting feedback and support from everyone. So thank you for the support and love, peace, blessings, and thank you kindly. All right. So for those who may be new to the platform, to the show, the Grand Rising Collective is a platform that myself, Kyle Dixon, and Kaide Bentley created. And to just introduce myself, I've been an educator for 20 plus years. I have my own film production company that I co-host with Corey Smallwood called Precise Minds Filmworks. We've produced our own content, short form documentaries, videos, etc. Also, with this platform and with my living in different places, experiencing various things in different parts of the United States, and also having the luxury to travel outside the United States, not as much as I like to, but I have, having a different perspective on things that we're going through in today's society, and being able to share those things on this platform called the Grand Rising Collective. Now, we call it the Grand Rising Collective because Grand Rising is like a term of endearment, like a good morning, good afternoon. And it's a reminder for us to rise to the occasion of obstacles, challenges, difficulties, and be grand at doing it. Be grand, be great. So it's a constant reminder for us, like a mantra, just always to kind of look forward to the challenges, but also be able to accept the challenges and have the tools that you can access to be able to get you over the hump, maybe get you through those things, because it can be very, very difficult sometimes. And we speak from experience because we've been through and going through certain things that are challenging in the moment. But we lean on the people that we know, we lean on the resources that we have access to, and we want to be able to share some of those resources with you people, right? People that we've interviewed to be able to give their insight and give their experiences, and hopefully help you to navigate through some of that challenge in those trying times. All right. But this platform is to initiate, to inform, to enhance and empower those who take part in it. So with that being said, that is the point that we're pushing, and that is the agenda that we have in the community. Myself and Kaide have had many talks, many engagements with the youth in the community, and we cherish the youth and also the young adults and adults and people in general. But mainly we focus on youth. I'm an educator, so in reference to that, we want to make sure that the youth have the tools that they need and the support they need, so that way society can become better than what it is now. Because as you see with all the stuff that's going on with the election about to come up, the voting rights, the discrimination, the violence, the police brutality, the governmental brutality, who we have in office right now as supposedly leader of the free world, the leader, put my little air quotes up. It's just a lot of things going on that definitely need to be changed. And we need people like ourselves, people who are well informed, people who have the not just best intentions, but also have a plan and objective to help better the situations of our communities and others in the scheme of things. So with this platform, we like to bring people on who have some insight to politics. We just had Representative Eric Allen on a few episodes ago. We've had Brother Ruben, who works in college admissions. We've had Alvin Singh, who showed us how to use technology as far as social protesting. We've had psychotherapists, Jacqueline Davis, come on and talk about just overall wellness and being. We've had Stephen Warren come in and talk about financial literacy and financial education as far as investments that you can make, where you don't have to have $1,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, it can start with $50, $100, right? Have so many people on here. We still have more to give you all. We have more people to interview, and the work that we're doing is for not just for us, but for everyone to benefit from. We were having these conversations amongst ourselves, and we're like, well, why don't we have these conversations amongst where people can benefit from us talking to people, and also being there for not only for us, but for them to share their insight on things that we want to know about. And we've had, again, various topics, and we plan to have more. So in reference of today, with this episode, with my co-host not being here, I don't plan to talk too long, but I know for those who know the platform, I can go in. All right, I can go in. So as an educator, I'm used to talking and lecturing and whatnot, but I really want to get into it real quick. I know that Breonna Taylor, their family received some type of a settlement recently, and I know some people have felt some type of way about that because they said, well, what money can equate to someone's life being lost? And that's very true. There is no money that could equate to you losing a loved one. And I can speak from my own experience from my father transitioning a few years ago. So there's nothing like that. There's no money that I could put on my father's life, or I'm sure that Breonna's family could put on her life to say this will justify her being heinously murdered by the Louisville police force. And it's tough because I don't know all the details of the deal, but if she's getting money from the state or from the city as a settlement, but then the cops are not only arrested but convicted of the crime of their misbehavior and their misjudgment, then is justice really served? And again, that I'm not saying I'm the expert, but I'm really posing the question to all of us: is justice really served? Is justice really served for her life, her energy, her presence in her family and in her community, and just her life in itself? Sleeping in the bed, they're coming in charge. The police charge in for a drug raid. Her boyfriend shoots because he thinks it's an intruder, which rightfully so, because it's their home, and then they end up shooting her to death. And these are things that typically happen to those of color, right? I was having a talk with a friend of mine recently, and it made me think of when Atiana Jefferson, that's one, the sister in Texas, another sister who, where the police came in, barged in, shot through the window, shot her, killed her, just a misappropriation of so-called justice, right? The sister lost her life over some nonsense, right? Over she didn't even do anything. She was really she was still minding her own business. And apparently, I believe the police officers busted in her home and then shot her. And it was just like, who's going to pay for that? Who's going to attest to that mistake of this young woman's life? Who's going to do that? This sister, right? And these things seem to happen in our communities, which we know has a lot of deep history to it with Black folks, people of color in this country, and the police departments. And it just has to stop. It's been needing to stop, but it really just needs to just really be called out, and those cops brought to task. Now, I went to this, it makes me think of this workshop I went to about 5 or 6 years ago in New York. And one of the guys that was speaking was he worked for the DA's office. He was a Black man, older Black man, used to be in New York, but he had moved. But he had came back for this workshop, and he talked about how if you really want police precincts and police to change as whole, you got to go to the police unions. The police unions are the ones that give the police the authorities to do these things and not get reprimanded. So he's like, you got to hit the police unions. And he even talked to us about them when they were talking about the cameras on the police. He was telling us with the cameras on the police that that he said that's a band-aid, right? You still have to reinforce the new strategy. You still have to reinforce new strategies for police because they're trained to kill. They're not trained to maim, they're trained to kill, right? Just their training, the way they shoot, the way they interact. For the most part, they're trained to not de-escalate, but sometimes escalate the situation, right? Even though initially they were trained to de-escalate, but now new training is coming in with it escalating, coming with very much authority and force based off of military training. But he was saying if you have the camera here, and let's say you're a police officer and you need to shoot someone, you're just going to turn your body so that way the camera is facing this way and the gun is this way. Instead of you shooting here where the camera's facing here, you're shooting going here, right? So, well, you're shooting here and the camera's pointing out this way, so you just turn your body. So he was telling us that there's many different ways. I've seen videos of police officers. They have the camera on the dashboard and they'll raise the hood of their car. You know what I'm saying? So these are like little tactics that some of these police officers do to avoid being caught on camera doing heinous, unlawful searches and seizures on people in their vehicles and or on the corner. So, so family, you know, you always stay on point, always stay aware, look, listen, and observe. Look, listen, and observe, because it's very important for you all, for your safety, for our safety. And it also makes me think of another workshop. I go to a lot of workshops. Another officer was telling us about how to engage with certain police officers. Certain police officers come at you. They don't have any ill intention. They just want to do their job and get up out of there safely, right? And there's some police officers, as I just mentioned, that come very aggressive, right? Looking to maybe provoke or poke at you, to agitate you in order to get you to do something so they can arrest you and or assault you, right? And now, unfortunately, maybe even kill you, right? Or mortally wound you. So you have to always assess who you're dealing with. Are you dealing with an officer that seems like he has a level head? Are you dealing with somebody who's erratic, very very much like an agitator, aggressor, and you have to act accordingly? So these are things that I talk about with the youth. These are things that me and Coyote talk about with the youth and other adults as well, because we've all been through situations. I've been pulled over by police officers before. Thankfully, knock on wood, that nothing heinous had happened. I came across ones who were pretty much tried to follow the book by the law. I made sure I had my hands on steering wheel. Turn the car off. Sometimes I've been with people where they'll turn the car off, put the keys on the dashboard, and keep the hands on the wheel. So I mean, it's messed up that a lot of people feel like they have to do that extreme. But if it means you getting home and leaving safely, unfortunately, you know that these are the times we deal with. This is warfare, right? A lot of people don't want to say that, but in some certain cases, it is warfare, and people look at it as such. So don't be confused. Don't be misjudged. If you feel like you don't feel like you have to do these things, I understand. But again, in the climate that we're in and we've been in, these are things you at least have to think about and know that they exist. All right. So yeah, family. In reference of like Breonna Taylor, I hope her family gets the justice that they need in order to be able to bring these cops that were involved in her murder to justice, to be convicted, not just arrested, but convicted too, because they need to set an example for other law enforcement that they can't come and do these things and just get away with it. Can't kill somebody. So, oh, my bad, my mistake. We're sorry, and then that's it. Like that's not going to do it. It's not going to do it, right? So, just wanted to touch on that because the sister definitely needs her justice. Her spirit is with us. And she definitely needs to be acknowledged for that, and justice needs to be served in that way. All right. So, oh yes, I want to talk about in reference of like the educational piece, right? So we know children back to school. I'm down south right now. Children been back to school for about a couple of weeks now, and I just recently started back to school as far as classes and whatnot, and I'm seeing articles. I might have to share my screen, but I'm seeing these articles, family, like it's crazy, right? So, so again, this is article off of the internet, and you know, it's kind of interesting because it says, you know, teachers say some parents drink, smoke, and appear half dressed in online classroom. Family, right? If you have children, I think I mentioned this before, but if you have children, please do not walk through their classroom, their virtual classroom, in your drawers. Don't do that, okay? Please do not walk past your children's classroom with a drink in your hand, with the henny hand, you know, with the smoke, right? With the herbals, right? The smoky herbals, all right? The one with the THC in it. Don't do that, okay? Like, we understand it's tough for everybody, but don't do that. Don't do that to your child. Like, they're talking about coming in half dressed, walk around their drawers, walk around their bra, you know, and this isn't body shaming. I'm just saying, like, be mindful that now part of your home is part of the outside world. You know, realize that. And as an educator, thank goodness I have not seen that yet. But I mean, sometimes it can be comical, and sometimes, again, be mindful, because these things that happen in the background on your child's monitor or video, that is recorded. So somebody has a recording of you walking around in your drawers, walking around in your bra, walking around with the beer in your hand. They said in the article they seen someone's father with a beer in his hand at 11:45 in the morning. I'm like, hey man, I'm not here to judge, you know what I'm saying? Whatever gets you through the day. But yeah, man, you know, like, y'all got to be careful with that. You know, just, you got to be mindful of that. And as a teacher, as an educator, you know, if we see something that's really like not good in the background, we might have to report that. You know, I'm just saying that I've never had to do that, and I hope I never do. But luckily, my students, we've already told them up front, like, pick a spot in the house where it's less distraction. Maybe it's a wall behind you, like I have a wall behind me, and just make sure that it's a secure space where you're not moving around all the time, or people not walking through the video all the time. And again, it's tough, right? Again, it's per case basis, because it may not be enough room in a household, or sequestered enough space in a household for that child to do what they need to do without people walking back and forth through. But try not to. And if you do, it's okay, but don't, you know, have some clothes on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because again, these things are recorded. So it can just cause a distraction for the other children in the room. You know, if you see your mama walking by with her without a dress on, you know what I'm saying? Or like dad without his shirt on. Like, you know, now if your mom and dad are fit people, you know, hey, but I'm saying just be mindful of that. But, and also be mindful in reference of, I know some of you all who do have children, like, just be mindful that as much as you're going through it, your child is going through it too. They have to adjust as well. And just be compassionate for each other. Like, make sure your child is taken care of, but also make sure you're taken care of. Make sure, you know, if you have to step out, get some fresh air, or you have to set certain boundaries as far as when lessons go on. Like, say your child can't make every lesson, make sure you communicate that with the school and the teachers. Please, family, if you're not able to secure a space during certain times of the day for your child, because maybe you have multiple children and you're all using one computer, so multiple classes at certain times, please make sure to communicate with your child's teacher, with your children's teacher, with the principal. If not, or if you have to go over their head, go to like the school board or superintendent and let them know, hey, I'm trying to let my school know that there's certain videos that my child cannot attend due to weak internet signal, or due to I have multiple children and at multiple times they have class around the same time, so I have to choose one or the other. Or we have to worry about paying the bills at certain times of the day. I can only allow them to go to school for a certain time, and then while they're doing that, I may be at work, or I may be working from home. I have to do that. So please communicate. Communication is key. I tell my students that all the time. Communication is key. When you communicate, that way we can find solutions toward that particular issue and problem, and then address it accordingly. But if we don't know what's going on, if we're not sure of what's happening, then we'll just start assuming, say, oh well, they're not serious. They don't have the discipline in order to follow through, right? These are things that we talk about just amongst ourselves and people in general. So just make sure to communicate with your child's teacher in the school, and if they're bugging, if they're tripping, then go over their heads and talk to somebody else and say, hey, look, here's what we're running into. I want to make sure my child is educated, make sure they're in school, but these are the issues that are going on right now. So just be mindful of that, and just communicate. So when you do that way, it allows your child to be at ease, allows you to be more at ease, because it's tough. Like I had internet signal issues the past few weeks, and hope I was lucky to be able to get that rectified. So it can be stressful. It really can, right? Because I want to make sure that we offer you all the best, and I want to make sure we bring our best. And that's kind of difficult when internet, digital is where it is. Digital is where our world is at right now, So just be mindful of that, and make sure that those things are adhered to and taken care of, right? So with a lot of stuff that's going on recently, just with health and like wellness, as I talked about the last episode, we have a number of episodes about that. We have Dr. Lorena Poe, she's talking about it. We have CD Godbody talking about some things. We have Dr. Trammell, she's talking about colorism and racism in Brazil and America. We have so many diverse people that we've interviewed up to this point, and we will continue to have more. We continue to have more diverse people. So just be locked in for that. But in reference of certain things that we talk about on this platform, we also open to those people who may not feel like their voice is heard and have something valid to share with the family, information that we can use towards solutions. Like we have some people coming up, some more educators, some people that are dealing with in real estate, right? We have some of those people coming in. I was just talking with some of my colleagues. One of them, they run a film festival, and we're working on some things right now. So we definitely got some things cooking. Going into 2021. And 2020, like I said, 2020 has been an interesting year. Say 2020 vision, clear vision, right? So all this stuff that's going on, make sure that you're clear in your plan and your vision, right? Make sure you're clear in what you want to accomplish for this year. Despite all this craziness going on, there's still some good stuff going on. There's some people, even with all the negative things that are happening in 2020, all the crazy stuff that's happening in 2020, there are people that are benefiting in 2020. There are people that are getting profit. They are advancing and enhancing their skills in this year, and it's not all predatory either, because we know some people use the demise and the sorrow and the disadvantage of some people, and they take advantage, take advantage in a negative way. They take advantage in a negative way, and then they profit off of that. I'm talking about people who are taking some of the things in this year, this current year right now, not harming anybody, not scamming anybody, not scheming anybody, and they're benefiting. They're winning right now, right? Because you have to have the discipline, and you have to have the people around you that support you to be able to do certain things. And that's why one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast is because that some people don't have that in their circles. So hopefully this podcast provides them with some of that motivation and inspiration and information for them to push them a little bit forward. There's a great book that I read the past year. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna put it up right now. This brother, he was an ex-Navy SEAL, and his name is David Goggins. I mean, the brother is hardcore, right? And the book is Cant Hurt Me, right? The book is Cant Hurt Me. So you gotta see this. I gotta show you the image of this book, right? I mean, it's a great book, right? Share my screen. Right. So this book right here, Cant Hurt Me, right? This guy right here, hardcore, David Goggins. Look him up. You may think this dude is insane in the membrane, like just out there, like he just straight up like gives no F's, right? But if you really read his story, you see that he came from a very challenging childhood where he was bullied, where he was like verbally abused, and he just got to a point where he said, man, enough of this. Like, I've had enough of people beating up on me beating up on myself, and I'm gonna go for Navy SEAL. He was like way overweight. He had to lose the weight in like 3 months. And it was just like a lot of trial and error. Like he would try it, fail, and he just like pushed this up. You talking about somebody pushing themselves? This man went out for the Navy SEAL with like pretty much like a broken leg. Like his leg was like broken. He like tied it up, padded up his feet in his boots, and just like went running. Like whatever the training and the obstacle courses that they had to endure in order to become a Navy SEAL, he did it. Right, David Goggins is, I mean, this guy here, man. Right, David Goggins. This is for the lazy people who keep giving up. You must hear this. Yeah, like this dude is no joke, no joke. He went from this fat dude right here to this lean, what do they call it? Like you say lean mean fight machine, like for real, no joke. So hearing people's stories like that allows us to be able to fight through whatever challenges and obstacles we had. Like he wasn't a scholarly student, so not only did he have to pass the physical test, the training, he also had to pass the actual written test to get into the Navy SEALs, and he kept failing that because he just had to read stuff over and over and over and over and over again until it finally sunk in. I think it took him like two or three times to actually pass, and he barely passed, but he passed. So when we talk about determination, 2020 is definitely. It's all wrapped up in this year for sure. Determination. Like how determined are we to get to the places that we feel like we need to be or want to go? So these are just many examples, family. I can share definitely more books, but that's good for now. You check that book out. He's on YouTube. You can check him out. But definitely a interesting story, right? Definitely interesting story. But I know I want to also talk about, in reference of me and Kade, we talk about like relationships and whatnot, and there's no more important relationship than the one with yourself. There's no other relationship that's more important than yourself. And some people don't know how to have a relationship with themselves. They're always looking outward. They're always looking towards being around people, being with someone. And it's like, are you comfortable with just being with yourself? Like, are you very comfortable with just sitting by yourself alone in your own thoughts, or just sitting by yourself and just observing your surroundings, just soaking in the moment? Like, are you secure in that? Because that is where the true relationship comes to, that, and again, I'm speaking from experience. Right, I'm speaking from experience of being in those places, being not comfortable with who I am and what I want to do. That takes work. That inner work that I talked about earlier this year in 2020. Are you doing that inside gang work? That jogo de dentro, right? That Portuguese, that capoeira song, jogo de dentro, jogo de fora, right? Are you doing that inside work, right? That internal spirit work. Are you doing that? Because that's what's going to get you through this year. This year is no joke. I mean, like, I want to talk to my friends and certain family members. Just there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on, and no one is safe. Everybody's getting some brunt of this year in some form or fashion. Or even if it's not directly at you, it's people who you love and care about. They're getting it, so you're getting it, right? Because we're connected. Right? No one is immune to this year. And this is where your faith comes in. I don't know if you praise to a higher power, higher spirit, whatever religion, spirituality that you practice, or maybe you don't. Maybe you say, well, I'm determined now. Okay. Well, you depend on yourself. But faith in something is going to get us through this year. And I'd be remiss not to say that yeah, I can read the books. Yeah, I can do the training, the yoga, all that type of stuff. But it's that faith. It's that faith of something better in store. and working towards that betterment and that advancement of who I am as a person and the things that I want to have in my life and the people that I want to have around me to help support those things for me to be a better Kyle, to me to be a better human being. So not to get all deep and metaphysical, but it's just real, right? It's just real. And I hope that you and yours are reaching out to people, to organizations, to places, internal and external, that feed you. What is feeding you in 2020? That's my question for you, family. I'm going to end it on that note. What is feeding you in 2020? What is feeding your soul? What is feeding your experiences? What is feeding your goals? What is feeding your expectations? What is feeding you in 2020? Because what feeds you in 2020 will allow you to propel into 2021. What are you putting into you that is feeding your well-being? What are you doing? What are you not doing? Sometimes it's not even what you're doing, it's what you're not doing that may help you or may hurt you. Because a lot of times people focus on, you should do this, you should do that. Okay, what shouldn't you do? What should you not partake in order for you to get to the place that you need to be well and to feel whole? What is that? This is the perfect year to do it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, there's, discrimination, racism. That's been here. We're working on it, but it's been here. So what are you going to do for you? And not to be selfish, but you have to take care of you, and if for you to be able to take care of others. If you're not cared for, how can you care for others? If your tank is empty, what energy do you have to be able to assist and help those that you care about around you? When is it time? When are you going to take time for yourself? When is you going to be important enough for you to take a little bit of time for yourself in order for you to feel full and whole, so you can go out and do what you need to do in the world and help yourself, help others, and be able to be in a state of peace? What feeds you, family, for 2020? I'm going to end it on that note. Okay. So I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the love and support that you have given me and Kaide for this Grand Rise Collective podcast. We will be back for more. We'll be back for providing that dopeness, the people that are coming on that awesome what they do, and we got way more coming. Check us out. I'll put my link in the bottom, right? So you can check me on Twitter. You can check me on Instagram. You can check us here on Facebook. You can check us here on YouTube. Right? We're here, right? So in reference of where you can reach me at, right? These are my two. KEasy773, that's on Twitter. DIX_KYLE on Instagram, right? And then you can reach us on the Grand Rise Collective on YouTube, right? All right. So yeah, family, Grand Rise Collective on YouTube, so you can reach us there. I mean, we out here. So again, what's feeding you for 2020, family? And on that note, peace and blessings, love. Have a great rest of the day, great week, and we will see you soon. Stay tuned. Get those subscribers up. We need those subs. All right. 1,000 subs. That's what we're going for. So subscribe to our channel. We much appreciate you. We're working on some things to get back to our early adopters and some other things as far as certain companies that we rock with, certain things that we're using. And thanks for rocking with us. Thanks for holding on. Thanks for holding on to 2020. Right. So again, get out there, get informed, get empowered, get inspired, and we'll be back for y'all. All right, for another episode. Peace.
Yeah, yeah. baby, yeah. You know, say, ready on this. You know I have patience.